All of us want to give our patients the best clinical results possible. Unfortunately, when it comes to the full arch fixed implant solutions, such as the All-on-4, many of our patients are not getting the best. Why? Because they are not being treated by you. Instead of your patients coming in to discuss with you the options, which by the way includes keeping the teeth, they see a commercial on TV, go somewhere, and have 4 implants placed, connected to a hybrid denture, and then they come back to see you to be maintained for the rest of their life. Patients deserve better than this. They deserve to have long-term treatment provided by you. And we're going to help you by making things very simple. We're going to make it to where restoring these cases is as simple as making a denture. So I want to go over with you first how the flow works when we team up together, and then I want to talk about what you and I can do together to make the best clinical results, and then talk about how to avoid headaches and have fun doing these things. So first off, the flow. When a patient is a candidate for this treatment, you would send them to see us. We will take records such as a cone beam CT, intraoral scanning, and professional high-key photography. From there, we will present a treatment plan, which we go over with you, of course, arrange financing for both your office and ours, and schedule treatment. The second step is the day of surgery. Implants are placed, and then our lab tech gets to work by connecting the transitional prosthesis and take as many records as we can to simplify things in the future. From there, we move on to the next stage, which is the patient sees you in your office. They're healed, we've taken care of everything, but they're going to work with you at your office on function and aesthetics. So if there's any changes that need to happen, we will make another transitional smile prosthesis for you. And once the patient is happy with that smile, we will fabricate the final zirconia prosthesis. And that's the fourth step. They seat it in your office, champagne's opened, high fives all around, everyone's happy. So let's talk about what you and I can do to make these cases a clinical success. The first thing we want to do is to help you save bone. When I first started doing these things years ago, what drove me crazy was how much clearance we needed. The implant company said that we need 17 millimeters of room between the head of the implant and the occlusal plane. This drove me crazy. I'm sure you're taught as I that bone is sacred. We do a lot of procedures to preserve bone, and we also do a lot of things to build bone back up. And here we are doing these cases where we're sawing off 5 to 7 millimeters of bone. It just didn't feel right. And what made things worse, after a case was done, I'd review the case, and many times I would see the amount of bone reduced that was asked by the implant company was excessive. So how much space do we need? We need 2 millimeters of thickness wherever there is zirconia. And in order to find out how much space that is, it all starts with the smile. What we do at Final Smile, we take the cone beam, the scanning, and the 2D image, and we stitch those all together. And we do the facially generated treatment planning, or the digital smile design. But it starts with the smile first. And if you have the technology to actually fabricate the prosthesis in the software first and see how it looks in a 2D image, from there you can plan where the implants go. Doing things this way not only helps with saving bone, but also makes the prosthesis more durable if it's in the right spot. Let me show you an example of what I mean. Here's a model. This is actually a model I bought from one of the largest labs in the country for a full arch zirconia. Look how much space we have. Man, there must be so much strength to this zirconia, thickness everywhere. But when you look at the inside, we can see where the weakest link is at. And it's right here. This is a common mistake I see. The implants are placed too lingual. Now, the reason the implants were placed too lingual could be of one of two reasons. One, it looks like they just sawed off way too much bone. As you start to saw off bone, what happens to the arch? It shrinks, and it comes more to the lingual. When implants are placed too lingual, it's hard for patients to function, and it feels too bulky in their mouth. And what happens? We either leave the bulk there and tell the patient to deal with it, or we thin it up like this. But this becomes a point of weakness. Another reason why we see implants placed too lingual is just because of habit. Surgeons are trained to never place an implant too much to the buccal. Why? It makes the aesthetics of it a nightmare. So every good surgeon knows to place the implant a little bit more lingual, kind of where the cingulum would be. But when it comes to these cases, that is not exactly where we need it to be. The only way to know exactly where the implants should go is by designing the smile first, designing the prosthesis first, and then connecting the implants to them. Another thing we can do to make these cases very durable is to use the right material. Let me show you what is still commonly used. This is a hybrid denture. Now, most hybrid dentures are going to have a bar connecting the implants together, but these are denture teeth. Denture teeth are prone to breaking off. I was told years ago that one of the beauties of these hybrid dentures is that if it breaks, it's a cheap fix. It's just paying the lab to fix a denture teeth. But that becomes a big headache. Once these things start to pop off, if it becomes frequent, who's paying for that? This is a headache I want the patient to avoid and you to avoid. What we like to do is to do a full arch solid zirconia, but not all zirconia is created equal. Let's compare these two zirconia models. These are both solid zirconia, but one is beautiful. This is actually done from my friend Michael Tischler. He has a lab in New York. Good friend, good teacher. I've flown out to learn from him. But look at the design of this. We have adequate thickness everywhere on the prosthesis. But one other thing, when we design these cases, we prefer to have 6 implants. Sometimes I've done 7. When you only do 4 implants, you have a problem. It's all on 4, none on 3. So if it was my mouth, I would prefer to have 6 implants in my mouth. We are so dedicated to clinical success that the cost of doing 4 implants versus 7 from a lab perspective is going to cost you the same. I also don't suggest that you try to veneer these teeth. Some people will try to veneer porcelain on these to make them look better. We can make these beautiful, and I have not heard the patient complain of the looks of these. Another thing we can do that reduces headaches for both you and the patient is to save time. By having the lab tech heavily involved in the planning stage, doing that facially generated treatment planning, we can save a lot of time. Patients love us. I know they like to come visit us, but really, they would like to spend as little time in treatment as possible. And by having the lab tech heavily involved with the treatment planning and the day of surgery, taking as many records as we can at that point, we can skip a lot of steps. There are still going to be times where we may have to send a verification jig for an impression. We'll go over all that with you, but by having the lab tech involved from the beginning, we prevent a lot of headaches. Another thing we can do is to help you save money. Compared to one of the other major local labs here in town that will also come and help day of surgery, we're about $1,500 cheaper if you're doing an all-on-6 type of case. Also, we are using the full arch zirconia and not the old denture style hybrid. And lastly, we help you to save teeth. By you becoming the expert and letting your patients know that this is a service you provide, you can talk to them about what's best, whether to do the full arch zirconia or to save their teeth. In the end, it comes down to what's best for the patient. And what's best for the patient is not for them to go see somebody that they saw off of a commercial, but to come in and see you for long-term treatment. So my invitation to you is to let the patients know this is a service you can provide. Let them know that you are the one that they should talk to. I invite you to fill out the form below. We'll send you out some information, some materials that you can talk with your patient about. With our labs and surgeons, we have unique experience to do every step of this process. And I'm more than happy to help you out as much or as little as you want. I really look forward to meeting you. These cases can be a blast. It's not every day that we do something that actually changes someone's life, that they'll hug you for and look at you as a hero. My name is Jarom Lamoreaux with Final Smile Implant Surgeons and Lab. I look forward to meeting you. Thank you.